I want to use as much time as possible to train on using the 60 seconds. Now, Mike, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here as a financial planner. I know you know numbers real well, so
I'm shy, so.
That's right, exactly. You're very shy. That's right. So you're wearing the wrong color shirt. I don't know if that was.
I got the memo from the boys.
There you go. That's great. I love it. That's great. If somebody has their investment portfolio and you're able to improve 15% in 5 different areas, do you have an idea what the results would be?
I get a hug and a kiss.
Well, that's probably true, exactly. But any idea about the number results on that?
The actual number result?
Yeah,
15% on 5
different areas. Yes.
Well, we don't. In financial, we don't combine them. We just take the overall number, which would be 15%.
Okay. Well, here's what. If you do take 5 different areas and add it and increase by 15%, you're going to double your results. That's the bottom line because of compound interest and working together inside there. So.
Okay. I mean, just the other question is, if I give you $1 million right now, or you want a penny a day, double the day, which would you take in 30 days?
Oh, I'll tell you, there's no doubt about that. Give me that penny.
That's $5 million in 30 days. So compounding is unbelievable. And that's something
exactly
that you're pointing out right there. If you can double that, that's amazing.
And I appreciate that. So everything in BNI is based on that same sort of thing. We get together on a regular basis. If you can improve your 60 seconds by 15%, if you can improve the visitors, the one-on-ones, the training by 15%, you're going to double your results. And that's what I'm about here. So I'm coming out to all my chapters and giving a training inside the chapter. We're going to be doing 60 seconds. I do have a handout, but I prefer to give the handout afterwards. It's more important you take your notes during the training. So please, get your pens out and take some notes as we go along. How many people have read the book Good to Great by Jim Collins? Okay, he's got 2 good books that I recommend, Good to Great and Built to Last. One of them he talks about is the hedgehog. Now, who knows what a hedgehog is in life? And not Sonic the Hedgehog. Go ahead, Van.
It's a porcupine that doesn't shoot quills.
That's right, exactly. He's very tiny, right?
Yeah.
Now, how fearsome is that creature?
Not very.
Not very. It's pretty docile. It's a little tiny animal, little tiny legs, little beady eyes. Can't run. Really, it's pretty slow-witted. It's not, but it dominates its marketplace, which is the garden, right? You guys can dominate any marketplace you choose the same way. Now, you have a built-in hedgehog as a BNI member. There's no competition inside here, right? But outside the marketplace, plenty of competition. Am I right about that? So what we want to do is sharpen the saw in here so when you're out in the marketplace, you're all set. That little tiny hedgehog doesn't matter how big the bear is or how smart the fox is. When it's threatened, it does one thing. It curls up in a ball, it sticks its spines out, and there is no hedgehog for lunch today, right? So you guys can do the same thing. And it takes these 3 components put together. Inside here, where they overlap, that's the hedgehog. And that's what you always want to be developing. You can make that hedgehog bigger and bigger once you get it established. But you want to get it established in the minds of your marketplace and in the processes in running your business. So let's go through these first things. The first is target market. Now, what Jim Collins in Good to Great calls it is economic engine, but I think target market is a better fit for BNI. Target market. I'm looking through some of the people we talked about. Denise, you looked at law firms, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. How many new accounts do you want to open in the next 90 days?
It's like 30.
30, okay, great. Now, would your bank president be upset if every one of those 30 accounts was a law firm? They wouldn't say, we need some auto repair shops, we need some dry cleaners. They're happy with that, right? 30 accounts is 30 accounts. So that's how you look at your target market as well. Now, you may say it gets boring to keep opening law firm accounts. That's okay, right? You don't mind being bored with that, right? That's what I'm saying. So the more you can define it. Now, let me ask you this. I'm going to ask Mattel. How many attorneys are there in this area?
Thousands.
Thousands, exactly. So you just got to find 30 out of that 1,000, right? Then next quarter you find 30 more, next 30 more. So here's what I'm saying on target market. It should be big enough that 100% of your business can come from just that target market. That is okay. That's the kind of target market you want to bring to BNI. So attorneys are fine. Now, the problem with it, if there's thousands of attorneys, that's too big. Now you may say that's hard to believe, it'd be too big of a market, but it is too big. What you want to do is you want to build buzz so attorneys, do you guys talk to each other? You were invited by another attorney, right?
Quite a bit. Yep.
Exactly. So if he loves his bank, if he loves working on his bank, he's likely going to tell another attorney. Doesn't that help you, Denise? If you spread too broadly, you lose that opportunity, that buzz. So here's what I would do. I would take a list. If you meet with an attorney, how likely are they going to be signing up with your bank? What's your closing ratio, if I can use a technical term?
Well, depending upon what they're.
Sure, what they're looking for, right.
It can take anywhere from maybe 30 to 60 days.
Okay, right. But how likely, if you're talking to one attorney, how likely is that attorney, is it 50%, 20% to become a bank customer?
I would say definitely 75.
Okay,
80.
excellent. Now here's what I would do is I would take my BNI people off the hook a little bit, and I'd say if I have a 25% closing ratio, I'm okay. So for 25% closing ratio, how big does that attorney market have to be for you? What's 4 times 30? 120. So I would look for 120 attorneys. That would be my target market. 119 is too small, 121 is too big. It's an exaggeration, but I want you to get your head on it, right? Now you can all do the same thing. I'm choosing Denise. Hope you don't mind put down the spot there, but as an example. So if you need 120 attorneys, can't you get finer and slice a little bit tighter about that? What do you do business law, right? Okay, great. How many business attorneys are there?
Probably hundreds.
Hundreds. Okay, so you're getting a little bit smaller there, right? It could be business attorneys that are located inside. They have to be in a 4-story building. They could be business attorneys that are inside the belt line. You want to get as finer as you possibly can to the point that it matters, right? And that's what you want to do. That's the first exercise. Because here's the thing. If you can bring that target market small enough that you can dominate it, you can be the hedgehog, that's how it starts, is by defining that target market accurately. So first one is target market. I've given you 2 criteria for the target market. 1, it has to be big enough. 2, it has to be small enough. 3, it has to be visible so that people here can see it. People here have to be able to see it. So what I would do in that case, I mean, Mattel looks pretty sharp. He might be an attorney, but who knows? He could be something else, right? So I got to make it. So what I would do when I was your case, I'd have my list. These are the 120 attorneys I want to meet. I'd make sure everybody knows these are 120 attorneys I want to meet. Now I'm going to use Mike again as an example, financial planner. I think you work with just about anybody, right? There are some financial planners that have a floor. That's how their program works. You got to have 50,000, got to have 250,000, got to have $1.5 million, or whatever, right? Some financial planners like that. Well, wouldn't it be great if people were walking around, I got $250,000 to invest, help me out, right? Doesn't work that way. So he's got to make it visible for us in different ways. This is where they work, the kind of company they run, the number of employees they have, where they take vacations, the car to drive, that sort of thing, right? Because that's the third criteria is we need to be so that we can see it. You're a heat-seeking missile for payroll. You're out there talking to payroll. You may pass all kind of attorneys on the way because you're looking for your business, right? But if we can educate you what to look for, now you can help Denise out. Now you can help Mike out. So 3 criteria. Big enough that 100% of your business can come from it. Small enough that you can get buzz inside it. And third, visible so that we can see it. So that's what you want to bring inside your 60 seconds as well. Second aspect is passion. You got to have a passion for this market because they need things that you don't. Denise, if you didn't like attorneys, I would not bring attorneys into my 60-second presentations, right? I was just because here's the thing. I'm going to give you my friend Mattel, and you're going to say, oh, another attorney. These guys are prima donnas. Whatever it may that bothers you, right? Do you think I'm going to give you more attorneys at that point? It's not going to happen. So you got to have a passion for it. So if daycares are good for you, you better like little kids. Senior centers are good for you, better like old people. You got me on that? So you want to be focused. I don't care what's most profitable, you should have a passion for it. The third criteria, I'm just going to put P in there, is best in the world. How can you be the best in the world? Denise's world is whatever geography it takes for 30 attorneys to live inside there. Or what do we say, 120 attorneys to live inside there. That's her world. How can she be the best banker for those attorneys? Tremendous IOLTA account service, or whatever it takes to help those attorneys get benefits is what it's all about. That's what she needs to be the best in the best. Give an example. It's got beautiful weather out there. How many people rode their motorcycle in today? Oh, so if I'm in a motorcycle business, right? I got no clients in here, right? Are there motorcycle companies that are successful? None of you are their client, right? But you want to take these 3 things. There's a motorcycle guy, and if you had a motorcycle, I think you raised your hand, David, did you? Somebody?
Back in the good old days.
Back in the good old days. Well, me too back in the good old days. Not anymore, so that's right. But my wife won't let me ride one of those at all now at this point. But that was back in the day. So, but here's the thing. I had a Yamaha. What did you have? Harley. Okay, you could have said Norton Triumph, Suzuki, BMW. There's a lot of motorcycle types out there, right? And who's ever heard of Ray Price? For me, Ray Price is a really good example of the Hedgehog. Started out to be the #1 Harley dealer in Raleigh. Now he's the #1 Harley dealer for 6 states because he pays attention to the Hedgehog. Target market. There's enough Harley-Davidson owners or wannabes that he's got plenty of business there. You go to buy a pickup truck at Ray Price, what's he going to tell you? You go to buy a Suzuki at Ray Price, what's he going to tell you? Get out of here, right? So he's really boiled that business down. You've got to be willing, Denise, to boil it down to just 120 attorneys. He was willing to do that. Do you think he's successful? 3-story building right outside of downtown. That's what he did it. Second is passion. Does he have a passion for motorcycles? If you are a motorcycle fan, he raced bikes. He raced them into his 70s. He definitely has a passion for it. And is he the best in the world? Yes. To the point that if you are buying a motorcycle, you're in Atlanta, you're in Greensboro, you're in Charlotte, you're probably going to hop in your car, hop on your bike, and drive past 20 dealers, there's a Hedgehog, to work with Ray Price. Those 3 components, very, very important. Do not give them up. Next thing you look at is how do I deliver that in my 60-second presentation. So a couple things you want to look at. I break it into 5 main components, and I broke it up on the time for you guys someplace here. 60 seconds. I'm going to give you the 60-second numbers, then we'll boil it down for you. But these are the numbers. 18, 20, 10, 5, and 7. That's your roadmap. You don't have to do them all in that order, but you want to have them. 18 seconds is your introduction. Mattel, how long did it take you to finish law school?
3 years.
3 years. Okay, great. So if you were doing a 60-second presentation every week, do you think we could learn to pass the bar from what you're giving us? No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So don't worry about that. Some people in their 60 seconds thinks I got to teach you what chemicals I use. I got to teach you what equipment I use. I got to teach you how I do what I do. You're the expert at what you do. We don't need to know what you do. All we need to do is bring the people you want to help. So your 18 seconds introduction, 4 components of that introduction should be included. They're called lowest common denominators. You want to boil your business down to lowest common denominators. 4 types of lowest common denominators. They would be part of your 18 seconds, and I'm going to give you those as well. But why lowest common denominators? So you can still educate us each week about something that is important in your business. Here's one of the litmus tests I have on my 60 seconds. If I do my 60 seconds and I think a 12-year-old can't understand it, I got to dumb it down a little bit more too. It's not because I don't have respect. I think my BNI people are the best in the world, but they're busy. I've got to make it easy for them to understand what I'm all about. So if you're a techie guy, use all kind of acronyms, I would say back away from that a little bit. So, well, let's go through the process on lowest common denominators. The first is a product or service. Bonnie, how many products or services do you offer as an insurance agent? Can you insure cars?
Yes.
Can you insure boats?
Yes.
Motorcycles?
Yes.
Dry cleaners?
Yes.
So, I mean, can you come up with 50 different types? That's
Yes.
a product or service. Bring one a week. That's the lowest common denominator, one a week. Do you think over time we'll understand a little bit more about what you do? One a week. That's the first one, product or service. Second would be a benefit. A benefit. BJ gave us a benefit. I'm trying to think of what the heck it was about headaches, right? You can help with headaches. Can you help with weight loss?
I don't focus on.
Okay, but you got the. Can you help people sleep better at night?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of things you can do. Bring a different benefit. Maybe harder to come up with 50 benefits, but you want to come up with a benefit, one benefit a week. Now, I'm not saying you do a product and a benefit. You do a product or a benefit. The third type is any kind of credential. A credential. So if you've been in business for 20 years, if you were, I've got one guy in my BNI chapters on the Inc. 5000 list. There's some kind of credential, I would bring a credential a week. Can be your personal credential or your business credential. And the fourth type would be a particular target market. Again, getting back to our target market here. That's your 18-second introduction. 20 seconds would tell a story. What do you think your story should be about? About your lowest common denominator. My story was about a jeweler doing very well outside the area. The key about doing a story, I deliver it, and I've got 50 people that are out in the marketplace that can be sharing that story with other people, like pulling the doll on a string, right? If you have a good story, Denise, about how your bank can work with attorneys, the next time Bernadette's talking to an attorney, she can say, well, right? You wrote it, she delivers it. That's what you want. You want to get that legs in the marketplace. The third area is asking for the business. You want to be specific as you can be. Karen is always excellent at this. Now she asked for garden centers. I don't know many garden centers. I don't do garden centers, right? But I do have a friend, his last name is Register, I got to think of his first name, who does tiger lilies. He does a great job with tiger lilies. I'm going to find a way to put him in touch with her. I also have another friend, Tracy Huntley, I don't know if people know Tracy, who does gardens as well as a business. So those are two people. Not who she asked for, but because she was specific, I was able to think of people that are a fit. Be specific. If you are an interior designer in New York City and you get Donald Trump's business, I think you're in pretty good shape, right? You want to be specific. Most of us are not specific. But I want to make it easy for you to find the person I'm looking for. So being specific is big. 5 seconds would be a call to action. If I know Donald Trump, what do you want me to do? Give him my business card, give him my brochure, take him to a webinar I'm doing, bring him to my BNI chapter. Let me buy him lunch. What do you want me to do? You got to tell us. Because if you don't tell us, guess what? We'll either do the wrong thing or more likely, nothing. And that's an opportunity that's gone by the wayside. And then 7 seconds is your memory hook. Memory hook should also get some traction in the marketplace. It'll help with that buzz a lot. So if you got a memory hook about attorneys inside the bank, hugely valuable. That way she can start opening with that. Well, do you know this bank is the business attorney's best friend, or whatever your tagline needs to be, right? It helps open that conversation. So that's what you're looking for outside. If you need a memory hook, www.memoryhookswithans.com. I also run my business through this because I want to give time for people to go forward. I use a 6-week campaign. I found that worked best. I'd stay in a market for 6 weeks. So for instance, the market that's very good for me is truck drivers. Who knows a truck driver? Okay, David, what's the first name? Just the first name.
Van.
Van, okay, great. So I'm doing my 60 seconds. It's a great 60 seconds. Everything's perfect. And he thinks of Van. Then Bernadette does hers. Nicole goes on down the line. Pretty soon Van is gone. It's just the reality. You can't fight City Hall. You can't fight reality. He wants to help me, but he's busy, right? So Van is gone. How often do you talk to Van?
Once a year.
Once a year. Okay, great. So what are the odds that from asking for a truck driver once, I'm going to get a referral next week? Pretty slim to none, right? So, but here's the situation. Most of us in BNI will stand up and say, well, nobody knew truck drivers. I better ask for a teacher next week. That's what we do, right? Is Van a teacher?
A teacher?
Yeah.
No.
He's gone. He's gone. I've got a better chance if I stick with truck drivers for a certain amount of time. I found 6 weeks worked best for me. Next week I stand up, I do another presentation, 60 seconds, another lowest common denominator, how I can help truck drivers. He thinks of Van again, right? Again, he hasn't talked to him in a year. Bernadette does hers, Nicole, it's gone again. It's the reality. I can't change that. If I could, I'd be like a matrix. I'd pop it in his head, call Van. It's not going to happen, right? So I've got to do my part to wake that switch up. Next week I stand up. Guess what my LCD is about? Something about truck drivers. Guess what my story is about? Something about truck drivers. Guess what David's doing? He's like this. Oh man, I haven't called Van yet. I want him to have that experience. Now the switch is on. I better call Van. And I've given him 3 stories that he can say to Van about how I can help him out, right? One of those he might remember, one of them he might like. So we got to stick with it long enough. We're planting seeds. And then we go, instead of watering them, we go plant seeds someplace else. And we plant seeds someplace else and wonder why stuff is not growing the way it should. 15% improvement in 5 areas, double your results. Is a simple area to double your results. Just stick with it long enough to make it pay off. That's the process. I found my best referrals came in week 4. Week 4 through week 8 were my best referrals. Week 6, trust me, I'm already giving up on truck drivers with you guys. I've beaten the truck drivers to death inside here. So week 6, I'm doing an exit strategy. Who do truck drivers hate to see in the rearview mirror as a police officer? We can help police officers. I start moving to police officers. But it still stays close enough that it's in your brain, right? I'm going to give you that campaign. Another thing is a funnel. What you want to do is set up a funnel. There's 2 types, business to business and business to consumer. You're going to get it in your handout, so I'm not going to go through a lot of detail in there, but I'm going to go to the business to business one to give you an idea. I'm going to take somebody who had a business to business choice here. Okay, fleet vehicles. Bob, who's a company that has fleet vehicles?
Time Warner Cable.
Time Warner Cable. Okay, great. So now, who's the decision maker inside Time Warner Cable for you?
Tell me.
Okay, but you can look that up. Does anybody give? You can look it up, right? You could find that out, right? And that is a tricky thing. It's like, where's Waldo to figure out who the decision maker is, right? Oh, talk to Bernadette. Bernadette says, this is great. You got to talk to Nicole. Then you got to talk to Dan. All right, so, but let's say we know the person's name is Joe Smith, just to keep it simple, right? And Joe Smith is probably, would probably be the Vice President of Marketing. Good guess as any, right? So Joe Smith, the Vice President of Marketing. So here's what I would do. What type of industry is Time Warner Cable in? Entertainment? Okay, what type of industry are they in?
They're into cabling facilities.
Okay, so they're in the wiring and cabling business, right? Do the SIC code?
They are in entertainment, obviously.
Okay, well, I'd go with entertainment. I think there's other fleet companies. So you put the industry first, in their case, entertainment. Then you go with a company, TWC, right? All right. Then you go with a department, and we said marketing. Then you go with a title, we said VP. Then you go with the name, and we said Joe Smith. Now, how much time would it take you to figure that out if you were on the internet? Minutes, right?
No, I haven't figured it out yet.
Okay, well, that's what we're here for, so that's great. So let's go with Denise. How hard would it be to find those 120 attorneys inside, business attorneys or whatever type of attorney you want, inside your marketplace? Is there something called Martindale Hubble? Am I saying the right thing? So there's the reference guides out there to find attorneys, right? Yeah. There's companies that do videography for attorneys. So a lot of different access points into attorneys, right?
A lot of specialty.
And you're looking for 120 of them. So here's what I would do is I'd put this together. Is there a guy named James Scott Farron? Is he an attorney in this area? So he could do the same thing for him, right? Same sort of thing. Well, let's go back to Bob here. So here's my target is right here. Here's how I do my 60 seconds. You know, it's a sign buying month or whatever the heck you said there. So it's a sign month, which is great, National Sign Month. So these are the people that we can help. If you know Joe Smith, I really want to meet Joe Smith. Joe is the Vice President of Marketing for Time Warner Cable. We help them with a lot of signage as well as anybody else in the entertainment industry. Bob sides, da-da-da-da. So that is the way you ask. You build the funnel from the top down, but you ask from the bottom up. That way it resonates for you. So that's what I'm recommending. Same thing for business to consumer. I've got that on your handout. I'm going to go ahead and pass your handout out right now. So I can take a bunch of these. I'm going to pass them in two directions. Just take one and pass it on. Guests as well. This, by the way, was put together by Nicole Leach, designed this. Sarah Pleasance printed it up. So we got the team right here, which is great. I'm going to turn your attention to the back. We started with looking to go to 15% improvement. Extremely important. Here's what you want to do. This is the worksheet I used when I was trying to grow my business through BNI. Is I went ahead and took a look 6 weeks out. So you can put the dates up there. I put what my target market is, business attorneys. I put my referral sources, videographers, whatever it may be, inside of that. And then I put my lowest common denominator. How can I particularly help business attorneys? I come up with 6 different lowest common denominators. Could be a product, could be a service, could be a benefit, could be a credential that we particularly have or whatever. And then I would do that together. And then each week after my 60 seconds, I would sit down, I'd look at this thing, and I'd rate myself in this bottom piece 3, 2, 1, or 0. You want to rate yourself. See how well you're doing. 3, 2, 1, or 0. How was my story? Oh, I forgot to do a story this week. Guess what I get? A 0. No big deal, because that's what you heard. You heard a 0, right? If I'm only going to get better, I've got to inspect what I expect. So I keep track of that inside of here. This is designed on a laminate, so you can go ahead and keep that current. You can make photocopies. You can do whatever you want. Now, here's the kind of thing. Let's say I get this thing going pretty well, and I know that a particular good market for me is an attorney, and Jackie's in our group. She's an estate planning attorney. I'm looking for a business attorney. Here's what I'd say at that point. I'd say, Jackie, would you do me a favor? I'm really trying to give a good 60 seconds about business attorneys. Would you rate me at the end of the meeting? I know she's a referral source for a business attorney. Guess what? She's listening this week, right? Doesn't matter what else is going on. She's listening to me this week. So a lot of things you can do when you got the tools in place to make it work for you. 15% improvement in 5 areas, 10% improvement in 6 areas, 25% improvement in 3 areas. You'll double your results. I really want you to make more money than you can spend in BNI. This is the tool to make it happen. So thank you all so much for your time on that. We're going to go back to our regular scheduled meeting at this point. We're still doing fine. Next thing we do is referrals and testimonials.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Well, it's what I do, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Next thing is referrals and testimonials. If you have a referral, there's referral slips in there. You want to get and pull that out. what you're going to see on there is a thermometer. It rates the possibility from bottom to top, lowest to highest. Nothing wrong with a low one. I've got a financial planner. He says, if it says for sale by owner, just give me the phone number. Is that a referral? It is not. But he needs it in his business, and I use a referral slip for that. I said to him, I am not shy. I'll knock on the door. What do you want me to say? He said, don't say anything, Steve. You'll screw it up. I don't disagree with him on that. But I'll give him that number because that works for me. He's got a system for that. I do that for sign companies. I'll give him this, with this insurance company, the sign looks terrible. What do you want me to do? And Bob says, don't say anything. Just give me the address. I'll take it from there. He's a pro. That'll help him out, right? But I'm going to tell you the referral slip a little bit stronger. If I know somebody needs your service and I say something good about it, that's a 1, right? See who we got inside here. So if I got a friend who's looking to hire somebody, that's something you can help, right? Absolutely. That's great. So that'd be a level 1. I'd give you their name and number. You'd take it from there. If I could say good things about Lawrence, because he's in my BNI chapter, I know him real well, that's a level 2. I sprinkle a little pixie dust on him. It can be a personal connection or a business connection. Doesn't matter. 3 would be I arrange a meeting. So would it be good for you if I arranged a meeting? Bernadette's hiring. She's my executive. She's hiring. Would it be good for me to arrange a meeting for you? Is that okay? That's a level 3. A 4 is the same thing, but I'm there when the meeting starts. And a 5 would be the kind of thing, I get her commitment to use you as a job searchment. You probably can't do a 5. You get your contract signed, all kind of stuff. That'd be a 5. It'd come with a check attached. So I do have a 5 here for Sarah, though. So Sarah comes with a check attached. Not for this, but I use it for a lot of printing. She's doing my son's business card, so I'm passing that out to Sarah, wherever the heck she is. Right there, great. You can pass that her way. It's fantastic. The white part goes to the person who's receiving the referral. The pink part goes to your chapter to track it. So I guess I'll pass it on that way. It goes to the VP. And the yellow is from following up, because I would follow up with Lawrence. How'd it go with Bernadette getting that together? So we're going to roll through the same thing. We got about 15 seconds to go through this for everybody. So I'm going to go this way. We'll start with Bonnie. If you have a referral, you want to share it. If you don't, a testimonial is great. If you don't, a positive comment. But we want to go fast on that. So Bonnie, take it away. Meeting usually ends at 9:30. I apologize for that. We'll keep you about 2 minutes over. I'm caught on my ankle leg there, so that's great. But we're going to go at this point with door prize drawing. Who has the pink slips?
Right over here.
Great. If you can draw one at random out of there, who it's from, win this door prize. This is Networking Like a Pro. Very powerful bestseller from BNI. Definitely want to make sure that somebody gets this.
Jim Lindsley.
Jim Lindsley. All right, great. That's good. Pass it on down. Pass it all the way down to Durham. That'll be great. And the next thing we have at this point would be, this is a dues-paying organization, so I've got applications for the people here that are not represented. So Paul, if you can get that, pass that down to Lawrence, Steve, Mattel, and Kate. And what you're going to see here when you get that, to become a BNI member, you would go ahead and lock out the competition. You've got some applications that are impending. First thing you do is turn to the back, the Code of Ethics. We didn't induct somebody. We want to make sure we can rely on you and count on you. That's how you're going to get referrals. 2 business references. It just can't be somebody in the room. I got a business reference from a contractor. He gave me a customer and a competitor. That's great type of things to consider for your business references. Turn around to the front. I put your names on there. Hopefully I spelled your name right. Mattel was just a guess there. But your name, got your chapter inside. This is RD34. Pay it forward. A little place here, it says describe your business or service. Can't be C attached. Got to fit in that little box. The only way we're going to understand if it fits in that little box. So keep it simple is the bottom line. And then you look over here, it's a $100 application fee, $365, which is $1 a day. To hire a sales force like this, I think they're worth it. Or you can get a little bit of discount, go 2 years at $565. What you do is you put that application, like I said, we got a couple in the works. That comes into the BNI chapter. They check. I have no influence on that. And I just take that money and hang on to it until a decision is made. If we decide not to take you, I give you your money back. If we decide to take you, I cash it, and you'll have a year, 2 years from that point going forward. So make sure that Van gets those. And at this point, I'd like to turn it back over to our president, Bob Collier, to take us out the rest of the way. Thank you so much.
Another big round of applause for Steve.
Thank you.